The DPW actually was established in January 1st of 1949. The original building out front that we talked about being the garage or barn itself was a 60 by 90 building that existed prior to 1949. And then the add-on addition was in 1963. It was a 32 by 36 addition. The back building, which is the metal building that houses our equipment, was erected in 1979. And actually that building had a 25-year life expectancy, and we're into 34 years now, so we're 9 years over the life expectancy of that building. This here is the garage area that we work on our vehicles. Originally this area was to accommodate one, maybe two vehicles, which was smaller back in the day. Now basically we'll only be able to get one vehicle in here at a time. We do use two vehicles from door to door. We have no ventilation system in here. That's archaic, so we have to leave the doors open all the time in order to work on the vehicles. You can look down at the floor and see we have no power lifts. We're using regular manual lifts to get these vehicles up. Over to the left, up in the area of the chain falls and the hoist you see up there, was a ventilation system that went to the outside, the other side of the garage. The problem there was the trucks that were started out there, the exhaust would also fumigate inside this particular building. You really can't move up there if you're going to look for parts because the floor is in use right now as a storeroom also. But it's kind of congested and these guys are having a real hard time getting around in there, but they make do as best as they can. Right now we're in the garage area, and this is what houses all our vehicles and our equipment. This was built in the early 70s. Problem is it's outdated. It was only supposed to accommodate about 10 vehicles. Right now it's accommodating about 22 to 24 vehicles and equipment, including the backhoes, the loaders, the holders. You can see the lack of lighting in here. The ceilings has been repaired probably 3 or 4 times. We're going to show you some areas where and it's a rainy day today, by the way, and we're going to show you where the rain actually comes in to this building. We have to literally move 4 or 5 vehicles in the front area to get some of these vehicles that are in the back out. Down the end here, we have other equipment that we use for the sewer department. And again, when this was built, we didn't have a sewer department in town at the time. So now we have to house those vehicles. And looking at the far wall, you see the insulation also is coming off there. If you're looking at the truck, you can see that sometimes even mirrors are hitting the mirrors on the other trucks because that's how tight we are with space here. As we've been walking through here, again, if we have to take any one of these dump trucks or sanders out in the wintertime, we have to literally move all the equipment up front, out of the building, put them outside in order to get these trucks in and out. Looking at the backhoe, we want to show you the boom, which is the top section over here. And if you look at the door that is going to come in, we have to literally stretch that straight out in order to get this backhoe in and out. This houses the water and sewer department, like I said, where we keep all our equipment. Generators, our compressors. We work on pumps here, even hydrants. Again, no room to do anything in here. Some of the insulation is darkened over the years because of the exhaust systems from our trucks. The heating system in here is pretty inadequate. It's got to be turned up pretty high just to try to keep some of the equipment warm because some of the equipment needs to heat in order to function right. You can see the area that we're working over here is pretty tight also. We also have pumps on the floor. We have a bench over there that's pretty cluttered with the paints that we're using for the hydrants, so we have a hard time working in that area. This area is the highway and park and tree area. You can see where we house many vehicles, including the compressors and generators for the sewer department is also used in this area. Pretty cluttered. We find it very hard to get in and out of this room also. This here is the original generator put in the room. We said this room is about 1907. We believe that generator is probably around the 50s, 1950s. We're upstairs where this was a self-made mezzanine. Right now all it does is hold a lot of storage space for us. Put some of our barrels that you see here. What I do want to hit on is in the early 70s there was a fire up here, and if I can point out some of the beams, you can still see that they're still charred. Some structural beams, some ceiling beams up overhead. Goes up to one point and right down to the other point. Insulation up here also has been changed numerous times. We believe there's a lot of birds, a lot of animals getting in here now, doing a lot of damage. Again, there's no heat in this building. This building's pretty cold. Lacks a lot of everything, lighting, ventilation. And if you can look up the ceiling, you can see what's on the ceiling is just collapsed and corroded from some of the leaks we've had here over the years. This particular building here is the very first building that was built. It's been overlaid with cement. The reason why we overlaid it with cement is to keep the cracks sealed, so it winds up insulating, but it's been falling off. You can see a big crack right here formulating now. This is eventually all going to fall off the side of the building. And if I give it a little tap, you can see it just falling out. It's all dry rotted. This particular building, we try to stress that as the very first building was erected somewhere in 1907. That would be 5 years before the Titanic, just to give you a little perspective as to how old this building is. The problems that we're experiencing right now as compared to 1950 is the fact that we have doubled in size as far as town growth is concerned, but we haven't picked up that end as far as our building maintenance is concerned and our building supply area. We don't have enough room as it is right now to go along with the growth demand